You're listening to Whoa! Potluck.
Welcome to Marvel and Makeup. I'm Quincy.
And I'm Kay, and this is a podcast where I teach Quincy a little bit about Marvel.
And I teach Kay a little bit about makeup.
Watch out, there are MCU spoilers ahead.
Like major
spoilers. Because we're in phase 3, y'all. And today, our guest is writer and producer who was a 2017 finalist for TV One screenwriting competition, which led her to writing on their 2019 movie of the week, Deadly Dispatch.
She also rose to the role of Vice President of Content Acquisitions and Development at 1195, but now spends time on her first love, screenwriting. Please welcome Sade
Sellers. Yay. Welcome back, Sade.
Yes, our first repeat guest back.
Yes. And we're into phase 3. Yes.
That bio needs to be updated. I am back at 1195 doing just acquisitions now.
Oh, wow. Okay. You heard it here, everyone.
You know what? They wanted her back just like we wanted her back because she's too good to not have around.
True. And the thing is, we're in phase 3 and we're mixing it up. This will be our third episode of phase 3 because our first 2 episodes, one was a recap of phase 1 and phase 2. And the second one was a watch along of the Civil War, Captain America Civil War trailer, because as we all know now, Quincy knows now, Civil War is such a huge movie. Sade was even mentioning how people talk about how it's not a Captain America movie, it's an Avengers movie because there's so many characters in it.
Yeah, it's a cantankerous thing with all of the super nerds at the MCU. They're like, this is an Avengers movie. And I'm like, I don't care. It's from Captain America's point of view.
True.
Steve. So therefore it is his film.
And also, that's how they build it. Captain America, Civil War.
Civil War.
Which, because it is a big movie with a lot of characters, I tend to like those. So for me, this is my favorite Captain America movie. But to start off, I think
this might be my new favorite Marvel movie.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but more on that later. Let's go into context, Kay.
Yeah.
When was this movie made?
It came out in 2016, and I believe it was May. I forgot to get the exact date. But it was directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, who also did Winter Soldier, and written by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, who did Winter Soldier, the first Captain America, and later on they do both with the Russos. They did the later Avenger movies. Some things that happened in 2016. Beyonce released her Lemonade music video and album.
Wow.
That was such a moment. I remember everyone after that was like, "We're dressing in yellow and we have bats." And we're going around, with vengeance. Speaking of Avengers, and then that was also the year Hamilton won 11 Tony Awards.
Wow.
Yeah, 11.
So I haven't seen it.
Still have not seen either.
It's on Disney Plus.
It's on Disney Plus. I believe it's supposed to be at the Pantages in August.
Oh,
yeah.
You know what? On Hamilton, though, I turned it on, and then I realized that they never stopped singing.
Oh no. Yeah, it doesn't have a book. It just keeps going. It's all music.
And then I turned it off. I like musicals. I come from a theater background, but I need some dialogue and then some music and some dialogue and some music. So I was out.
Oh, okay.
That's funny. I love that.
You're not an opera, operatic type musical where it's just all songs. Yeah. Oh, and just to backtrack real fast, it came out May 6th, 2016.
Cool.
So early part of 2016. Another thing that came out that year was Alicia Keys.
That was 5 years ago. Sorry, I just did the math. That was 5 years ago. That feels like decades ago.
Decades ago. We're getting longer and longer as we get closer and closer.
No, it really does. Oh, man. Okay. Sorry. Alicia Keys
started the kind of the no makeup movement where she started making appearances where she had no makeup. Though people later on was like, she had a little bit of makeup, but that was kind of like her trying to be like, more like part of the natural beauty movement.
Sure.
So I thought that was
cool.
Interesting since we're a Marvel makeup podcast. And I didn't know this, but for 3 months in 2016, Tom Hiddleston dated Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
I think I know this.
Yeah,
this was huge. This was huge on both the Swiftie side and the MCU side. We finally were waiting to connect, and we did for 3 beautiful months. So,
are you a
then it fell
Swiftie?
apart. I am Swiftie. Yeah,
You are.
Yeah, it was great. They had a good tongue-in-cheek relationship. He wore an I Love TS shirt on the beach, and it was just to be funny because I think everyone was just kind of like, what? Because Loki has really strong stands, like really strong stands.
Really?
No one wants to see Tom Hiddleston happy. I'm just kidding. They want to see him happy. They just want him to be happy with them.
Yeah,
I am not a Loki stan, so I can accept that he actually dates a Black woman now, which I thought was so great. I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Well,
she's beautiful.
Yeah, so those were a few things that happened in 2016, just to get your mind in that zone. I will say that Beyonce, she came and did Lemonade, that released Lemonade that year, but she also did the Super Bowl again. I don't know, guys, if you remember that. It was when Coldplay was playing, and then she did she was part of the second half where she came out and did Formation, and she almost tripped, but then recovered, and I was just like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. So that was some of the things that would happen in 2016. Wow. But, let's dive into Civil War because this movie is huge. It's the third Captain America movie. It came out, it was the first movie of Phase 3, which was the last movie of Phase 2 was Ant-Man. But this gets kind of right into the crux of the Avengers and kind of what their relationship is going to be going into Phase 3. We start out in Lagos, where you kind of see the kind of the Team Cap kind of doing their thing and showing how they work together, and Wanda learning how to use her powers. Yeah. And I think this also is important because it kind of later, it kind of builds to how Wanda feels so guilty and kind of shameful for how she started out as an Avenger, and how as she's trying to learn her powers, that she doesn't have control over them. Yeah. Which definitely comes down the line. I know you watched WandaVision, right, Sade?
Yes, I'm obsessed with WandaVision. It's really great.
Yeah. I think I'm going to be obsessed with WandaVision, mostly because as I was watching this, I was obsessed. I love Wanda's powers. And I'm obsessed with Vision. He's just such a quirky personality that I want to see more, especially because he's not your typical, I don't know, superhero archetype.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was kind of the first time we saw him as a character. Whereas when we met him in Ultron, he was kind of I'm this new entity and I'm kind of just learning what this is all about. And now we kind of get the idea of his character as kind of that classic kind of robot computer trying to be a human, android trying to learn what it means to be human. So, he had some really great moments. I remember, him coming through the wall and him being like, oh, I thought that was okay. The door was open. Yeah.
Wait, Sade, I want to know what your hot take was on this. Cause, what your citizen's take is on this about whether the importance of the movie or, why you love this movie so much.
Oh, well, I always get a lot of flack for this, but I know I'm right. There's an A, B, and C story to this film, which is to all of the Marvel films, but this one in particular has a really great A, B, and C story. The A story being there's these accords because the Avengers are violating sovereign countries and then kind of walking in there, they're destroying these countries. They're trying to do their mission, save the job, but people are dying, as we saw in Lagos. With Wanda accidentally destroying a whole building and killing a lot of people. That's the A story. And then we have this really great B story where all we know is that this guy, this Russian, is on a mission. We don't know what the mission is, but he's doing something. And he is going around to different countries formulating this plan. And then we have this really great running C story, which is a thread back from Winter Soldier, which is Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier. What's going on here? We get introduced to Black Panther. So we've got a really great A, B, and C stories here. But the A story is what the most controversial part is for me, because I firmly believe that Tony Stark is absolutely right about
so would you consider yourself Team Iron Man in this?
Always.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting.
And he's right. And he's absolutely right, because they needed to be oversaw. And did it have to be a government oversight through America? No. I mean, was he completely right? No. But something had to be done. They were going into sovereign countries, especially sovereign countries, people of color, like in Africa and like in Lagos, and they were destroying it. And they weren't informing the governments there, like, hey, we're coming and there's missionaries in not missionaries, there's bad guys in your city, your country. We're going to come, by the way, we're going to come and this might happen and let me work with you. Or, hey, you guys can handle yourself. They weren't really entrusting that these governments could take care of issues. They kind of just ran in there with this like savior complex saying, we're going to take care of it. It's fine. And then destroying these properties and leaving, and these people have to rebuild. It's a big thread for WandaVision. So keep that in mind. When we talk about going back to the last time I was here, Age of Ultron, they literally destroyed Sokovia, destroyed that entire city. So I firmly believe that sometimes you have to have a little oversight and that people can go too far. And Tony knows this because Tony made a career off of working with other companies and industries and countries. Like, yes, he was a warlord at the first and selling weaponry, but he knew what the reality was. Like, someone has to take control of this, or the wrong person will take control of this. I also see Cap's side coming from Winter Soldier, and how Hydra being infiltrated within Shield was a big blow for him and everything he believed
created
in.
that distrust in him for large, entities.
Right. So I love this because they're both technically right, but Tony is more right.
Okay.
I back him up on that. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Cool.
I love that take. Kate, do you have a side?
Well, I symbolically for this week, I am Team Cap. That's why I wore blue eyeshadow.
And you're red.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
A little bit of red.
Oh, on the lipstick. Yeah.
Yes.
But the eyeshadow represents my Team Capness for this week. Cause I agree. Both sides are right in their own way. But from this side, from this week, when I watched it, I was like, I think I'm more Team Cap this week, just because, even though Tony was right, I believe Tony is right about the oversight. Cap was still digging like deeper and he wasn't reacting. Well, it's interesting. He was acting emotionally, but at the same time, at the end, it was Tony that was just like, I don't care. I don't care that he couldn't control what he's doing. I'm going to go after him right now. Now that I know the truth. But yeah, I will say,
I mean, to that point though, Kay, and that's the B story and C story that we were talking about. The reveal, again, spoiler alert, is that Bucky, under Winter Soldier, obviously, and under, distress. He killed Tony's parents. He killed them. He killed them. Yes. Whether he was under control or not, the end result is that Tony lost both his mother and his father. And to me, Cap, you really need to listen to me, Captain America. Omissions are lies. It's the same thing. As if you're going to call me a friend and say, but we're then family,
he did fess up to that. In the end, he fessed up to
when he got caught. He should have done it a long time ago. If we're going to be friends and coworkers and call ourselves Avengers and we're a team and we'll lose together and win together. But you know that your best friend killed my parents. We are not friends if you don't tell me that. That is insane. I can understand, like, Tony is entitled to process the death of his parents any way he wants to. I would kick your ass too if I found out your best friend killed my mama. Like, I deserve to. So Cap was wrong because in my head, and we're in his head, he's saying, oh, he did it to protect Tony. No, you did it to protect yourself because you didn't want to face that fact that your friend did that to another person and that you were afraid of the consequences that came with that, which is Tony kicking your ass, in my opinion. So I really feel Tony was right in that regard too. If you tell me 5 seconds before, but he didn't even tell him. He thought he had to watch it on the TV screen. He didn't even stop him and say, wait, let's talk about this. You let me watch your friend kill my parents. So you didn't even tell me. And that's really awful of Captain America, as someone who's supposed to be this like token to speaking of leadership and truth and power and honesty and loyalty. He dropped the ball, and he did make amends for it. You'll see later, but he really just hid from that problem. And I always say, when you run away from problems like that because you're afraid of how the other person reacts, it doesn't make them a bad person for reacting. It makes you a bad person for not allowing them to have the space to react.
See, okay. Good points. But I will say, because of the switch in their character arcs, Tony started out kind of pretty much like the rebel, like even in Avengers, he's just like, what's your plan of attack? My plan is attack. Like Tony has come off as that hothead, in previous movies, but now he is more of the follower, and he's getting on board with, the bureaucracy of it all. Cap, exact opposite. Started out the soldier, started out the, following the orders. And then once he realized Hydra had been in S.H.I.E.L.D. the whole time, totally threw him off of that. And then he started questioning everything. So I feel like the thing is like, I totally understand that. Like, that's such a dark thing to keep from Tony. But at the same time, it's almost like, even you're right, even though he was trying to be this shining example of like, we're a team, we lose together, we win together. I think at some point he didn't truly trust Tony enough to know that information. Like, I feel like if he had told Tony at some point, but it would have been like a race even earlier for Tony being like, oh, you were telling me that? Now I'm going to go after Bucky. And then absolutely.
Absolutely. And you know what? Honestly, you're right.
So it's almost like Bucky was safer when he was, hidden. And once he did come out, that's when Cap was like, oh, now I need to get into, and the whole time he was kind of still going after him to almost like, save him from Tony preemptively. But again, it's like,
but then
today I'm Team Cap, today next week I might be Team Iron Man.
But that to me speaks to his guilt. If he was preemptively saving Bucky, that to me knows he knew, and
he knew. And that was like the thing. Remember when we were watching Winter Soldier, when you took your earphones out, me and Hakeem were talking about the moment where he's watching that computer and he's showing all the different.
He knows.
That's when he learns. I realized that last time I watched Winter Soldier, that's when he learned that Tony killed. And
so here's the thing, though. It doesn't matter when you found out. It doesn't matter to you knew. And as soon as you knew, you should have told him. And it doesn't matter. You're right. Tony was going to go after Bucky no matter what, but that's his right. There's something beautiful about a true friendship. And I think you were spot on to say they didn't trust each other, because a true friendship is being able to tell your friend the messy truths. And then as the friend, be able to accept the consequences that come with that.
I agree.
And to allow that space.
I agree.
True. But again, he's learning this during Winter Soldier, when the last thing Nick Fury tells him before he dies, don't trust anyone. So he's learning this big truth. He doesn't even know who to trust with just the fact that what's happening around him, the fact that now it would have taken a lot of extra steps and extra kind of like, I think like emotional, like labor that he probably just didn't have. And, even though he's Steve and he's supposed to be the shining example, like he was dealing with this sense of not being able to trust.
But Kay, that's the key. It's me, I can't do this. I don't trust people. I don't have the bandwidth, rather than this is someone I work alongside with to save the world. They've tortured over their parents' death. They have been tortured about this. And I know that. And I know the secret that could free them for that torture. But I'm afraid because I don't trust man.
Listen,
It's just too me.
Yeah, I
free
also,
them, but also it's Tony Stark. So
I also think, but listen, I think with his disillusionment, I totally understand the disillusionment compounded with Nick telling him this morning. But I feel like if we were to go back in time and Steve Rogers had somehow accidentally kissed Bucky's girlfriend, I think he would have fessed up. I think that.
Right. Because they're friends, right? They were actual friends.
Yeah. Like I feel like that version, I don't know if he looks at, I don't know if current Captain America, if Steve Rogers would recognize the Captain America he is if he looked at how he treated Tony.
No, exactly.
I agree. The Cap from the 1940s would have been what you said to what you started. Why didn't you tell him? Why didn't you tell him?
Where's your loyalty?
Yeah. Where's your loyalty?
You know what's my favorite line from a movie that's not even the MCU? It's from Closer with Natalie Portman. And she has this beautiful scene because she finds out her husband has been cheating on her. And he just says, there was never a right time to tell you. And she goes, there's always a time, there's a moment, and you had yours, and whatever it was, it passed. So regardless of how he felt about Hydra, there's years passed between that and this movie. And even in this movie, you have plenty of time to tell him before Tony has to watch his parents' death on a screen at the end of the movie. So I can totally agree with being afraid and all that, but there's been plenty of moments within this 2-hour film for you to go, you know what? I really need to level with you for a second. I'm gonna tell you something you don't like. And it's up to you, like I just think everyone has a moment for truth. And Cap was afraid, like we all are. He's human. We're all afraid of the truths, the hard truths we have to tell ourselves and other people. But he was wrong.
Okay.
And he's wrong about the Accords. The Accords is the biggest part. Definitely wrong about that. And look online. No one agrees with me on this. I'm literally on my own, but that's fine. It's fine.
I would say, I think they're both wrong.
Hot take.
Mostly because as I'm watching this, I was like, man, peace is hard. And I was like, everyone, when you're little, you're like, oh, I just want world peace. And I'm like, man, peace is hard because we all want different things. It all looks different. And I think neither of them were listening. I think we can all agree that like they needed oversight, but the Accords wasn't the way to go. Like Cap needed to speak up and like tell the truth to Tony. And I think they needed to have like a come to Jesus moment and like sit at the table and like hash everything out and find a resolution that worked for both of them.
Right. Instead
of just like picking the first thing they saw, looking at that mission and just going for it.
Yeah.
Well, whenever someone's like, this is the way, it's never the only way,
Yeah. But the issue was Lagos, right? Like
this is true.
The issue was, I'm playing in the background. The issue was we lose T'Challa's father in this film and that the country of Lagos was pissed. And if they didn't do anything, these Avengers would have been villains, not heroes. They had to do something actionary to prove to the rest of the world that they could be trusted. And that's why I like Tony Stark, because Tony Stark is an adult. He puts on his big boy pants and he says, sometimes we have to do things that we don't like to do.
True. I will say, though, he was being pushed there emotionally kind of throughout the previous movies. And that wonderful scene with Alfred Woodward in the hallway at the elevator. Oh, she's so amazing. Wonderful actress. I mean, that was the thing that put her over the edge. And I feel like, again, even though, Steve's point of view is also kind of me, Tony's point of view is also kind of me, because it's like he screwed up with Ultron. Like he told he's like, even in that little speech, he goes like, Ultron, my bad, but it's like, right. It's like, this is, I think you're, the means that he's just like, we do need oversight. I think that is a good, valid argument, but I think it also partly is his own shame and guilt being like, sure. Let's do something because I know what I have done. And so I need
For sure.
someone just needs to put barriers on
me. He's definitely trying to, I think everyone in this
redeem
film is trying to absolve their sins, trying to erase them or wash them. Like Wanda is going through guilt herself this whole movie. And she's punishing herself by literally locking herself. They're doing it too, but it's really her confining herself away from people. And she's trying to absolve her sins. So everyone is kind of, which is so funny because this is like Civil War, and they are divided, but they're all individually divided. There's not really two teams. They're all on their own like island. True. Kind of like, I did this and I need to fix this. And
they all have their own specific reasons that they're doing this, which I think is what makes it a great movie, because everyone is coming at it from their own specific perspective. And
King T'Challa, I mean, not T'Challa. T'Challa. His dad dies and it becomes F y'all, I gotta kill Bucky. Like, you see how it happens? Like, it could have been T'Challa and Tony together if we just got this Bucky information a little earlier, because that would have been fun. Because as soon as his father dies and he thinks it's Bucky, he goes to Bucky. Like, he's like, I gotta get this guy. Like, anyone would react that way. It's a normal reaction to have. Yeah. So I'm really not sure why, like, Tony couldn't get that information earlier, because it's normal.
Well, when you're dealing with all this stuff and you're trying to do the right things, but that's the one thing that they didn't do. When you're kissing the niece of your future wife at your spoiler. I mean, of your former flame in your previous.
That was weird. I'm not gonna lie. I was
Wasn't that weird?
I was like, what?
Why are we setting up Captain America to date Peggy's niece? Why are we doing? Whose decision?
It's such a contested moment from this movie.
It was like weird.
Everyone was just like, oh, this is a little creepy.
Cap should have a love.
I mean, even if she wants it, you go, no. It's just weird. Like I used to love your aunt. Like, she was the love of my life. What are you talking? I'm at her funeral.
Yeah.
Then it's like, do you love her because she reminds you of her? Like,
I mean, did you guys see Mayor of Easttown? I mean, people.
Yes, I did.
People get lonely. People get lonely.
No, there's no.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying people get lonely, and people do get lonely. That
just needs to get out more. Listen,
true. Needs to widen.
Black Widow is right there. Black Widow.
Yeah. Can I say I just loved it when, like, in the bunker, she lets them go, that was such a telling moment for Nat's character. Also love the fight scene. We need to talk about this. The Avengers battle scene. Oh my God. I was like,
really great.
Wow, better than them fighting bad guys is each other. Like, it was so fun to see them, like, work in tandem and see how, like, when they work together, their powers can exponentially be even better. But just to
can we talk about the sides, because I thought the side choices were really interesting. So, like, Nat with Tony makes sense because Nat and Tony have a special relationship back from Iron Man 2. And then obviously Rhodey makes sense with Tony. That makes sense to me. Yes. Vision, I actually was a little shocked with Vision, but he's a part of Tony, so I can see how he has the logical brain. Clint being on the opposite side for me. I know he's close with Wanda, so I get that. Like, okay, so Clint's with Wanda, he's on the opposite side. And then Wanda and Steve are really close, Captain America. And then obviously, Bucky. And then Falcon is going to be, with Cap. Yeah. Who am I missing?
T'Challa, Black Panther, and Spider-Man. They're the new recruits.
T'Challa is like, I'll go whoever gives me Bucky. I don't really care for either of y'all, but I'm just and then Spider-Man, obviously.
And then they recruited Ant-Man on Cap's side.
Yeah, Ant-Man on Cap's side, which I'm just like, why?
Did you see Ant-Man? Did you see Ant-Man?
I haven't seen it in a long time. Maybe I got to go back and rewatch it.
There's that scene where Ant-Man fights Falcon when he's going after that piece of tech. So that's how they kind of were in each other's orbs.
They revisit.
These
are really good. These are good even side teams. But I will say, even though I am Team Iron Man, I don't know how y'all thought you were going to beat Wanda.
And
Captain America and Bucky. That's stacked.
Yeah.
She could have really did them all. She didn't really need anyone's help.
No.
She's so powerful. Well, and that was the thing too. And not only did I watch this movie, but I have the Blu-ray. So I watched the commentary where the writers and the directors talk about it. And that was one of the things they mentioned during that fight is like, they're not fighting to kill because they're friends and they're, they're coworkers. So the fact that they are kind of pulling their punches and not using their biggest amount of powers because they want to just capture, not kill.
Except for Wanda, I don't know, she was playing dirty. The look that Nat gives Wanda when she like grabs her foot is like, bitch, what are you doing? Like, and Clint's kind of like, what are you? She's like, you're pulling your punches, and he's like, yo, calm down, like that's my friend.
That
she's the new girl on the block who doesn't know yet.
Wanda gave no F's. She said, I don't care.
But I think that also was very telling in that last moment where Vision, he has Wanda in his arms, and then he like goes to shoot Falcon with his vision laser, and then Falcon rolls out of the way. He accidentally gets Rhodey. And then when they're back at the hospital, one of the things that Vision says was, I was distracted. So even though he's like this logical, kind of non-emotional type character, he cares for Wanda. So the fact that he had Wanda in his arms, he wasn't totally focused on what he was doing. And that's how he accidentally got Rhodey.
And that look on Tony's face when he's holding Rhodey, that's his best friend. That look, that hurt me so much because it's like, we like whether it was accident or not, and it was an accident, but perception is everything. All you know is that your best friend is on the ground and he might be dying. Because some guy over there refused to even have a conversation, whatever. So Tony looks at them like, are you serious right now? Like, this is what we're doing all for you to save your best friend? Like, so that was so painful.
Yeah, even though he doesn't know at that time, who has a lot of blood on his hands and is guilty of many crimes.
Many crimes. And poor Rhodey. Rhodey's the perfect person to get hit because we all are like, well, he really doesn't do anything. Like,
how do you feel about that, Quincy? Because you're a Don Cheadle fan.
Love Don Cheadle. By the way, he's in Space Jam as the villain, and he's so good in it.
He's on Space Jam already?
Yeah. Oh, I saw a screening. Oh, Sade, I saw the screening that you were supposed to go to. Oh, you did?
Okay, good. Yeah, they booked me, and then I had to come out here, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't go.
For final draft,
right?
Yeah, it was great. Good. It was wonderful. Great movie. I am obsessed with Don Cheadle. I don't know. I was like, no, my husband,
my Rhodey.
Yeah, I love him. He was great. It was also great to see Tony get emotional like that. I mean, we've seen him go through, depression and anxiety and stuff, but to really, and obviously, he's had fear and vulnerability with Pepper, but just to see someone else that he loves and cares about, because there's so few little that he like trusts and considers a friend, was a really great moment. The part of the reason I love this movie, and this is like my new favorite movie, was just the emotional arc and storytelling of this. It just like everyone has dirt on them. People are really hurting each other. That comment Tony makes to Nat, like, oh, you're a double agent. Like, you could see really hurt her. And it's just a bunch of friends fighting, and you're like, stop fighting. But like,
wait, I have a question for you both. Who do you think what side do you think Thor and Hulk would have taken if they had been there? I always think about that. I'm like, if those two were there, this whole thing is obsolete. If Thor would have ended this, and Hulk would have. I have an idea that Thor would definitely actually be on Tony's side. I really feel like he would have. But Hulk wouldn't have, or at least Banner wouldn't have. Yeah. I think Banner would have understood, especially what happened in Age of Ultron, that they couldn't afford to give up the fact that they should be able to go to situations where they needed to be. I think Banner has that side of him where he is practical and scientific like Tony, but he also understands that we have to have these boundaryless options because that's how we save the world. And I actually feel like Thor, someone who has seen worlds kind of crumble with power getting out of control, would have been like, no, we need to be railed in a little bit.
I think I agree with you. I think I would agree with you. Also, mostly because then with Nat and him being on opposing teams would have been very interesting.
It would have been
to
great.
See how that goes down. But I agree with your reasoning because with Thor, him being a god, him being a king of things and understanding how, Loki is essentially, if you put it in a different perspective, Loki is the Avengers in the sense that he goes about creating chaos and destruction, and for Hulk, I agree. Cause I think he's been the most in bureaucratic, blah, blah, blah. And no one even takes the time to understand who he is or what's happening to him. They just see threat, put it away.
He constantly has the government after him. Yeah. So he gets it.
What about
he's destroyed plenty of cities.
Exactly.
I was not so sure about Thor. I don't really know, but I actually thought Bruce would be on Tony's side because he would have been like, you're right, Tony, like Ultron, you really screwed that up. So having oversight over people like you and us is the right move. Though I do understand your point about how especially with his relationship with the General Ross, Ross is definitely, head of the Sokovia Accord. So that I think maybe for that specific reason, maybe he would have been on Cap's side because he don't like Ross and Ross has always been, after his ass.
And before Nat found him, he was always in hiding. He was always hidden somewhere. I don't think he would ever want to give that up. The Accords is essentially a tracking agreement. You don't know where you are at all times.
Yeah, a registry. It's just you have to be out in the open now.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I guess so. Yes, I agree then. But specifically because of the Ross thing, I think theoretically and conceptually, he's on board with the idea of the Accords, but the fact that, and this is, kind of Cap's justification of everyone has their own agendas. The fact that Ross is the head of the Accords and presenting the Accords to them, he would not be on board with Ross's agenda because of their bad blood. Interesting thing. Well, and also the one funny thing is you also have Ant-Man and Spider-Man who don't even have real much of a.
That's what I was thinking too. Was they just got recruited. They just got recruited
and they're showing up and so they don't really have any logical or conceptual meat in it.
It's a great example of how perception is everything. And there's your side, my side, and the truth. Because Ant-Man just knows what he knows. And Peter says this. He's Captain says, what are you doing? This kid, you think you're right and you're wrong. That's just one side of the story. Yeah. I will admit that Tony did not give him the full context of what was happening to let him decide what side he should be on. He was just I'm recruiting you. You're going to be on my side. And the kid is just following orders. So
yeah. And he didn't really need it because he's Iron Man wants me to be on his side. Sure. Of course. He's Iron Man. Sure. Yeah.
It's interesting because then Tony is doing to Spider-Man what essentially the Accords would be doing to the Avengers, which is giving them
one half of the story. Yeah.
To get their mission done. Because that's what right? Because then I'm if Spider-Man had the entire story, whose side would he go on?
What do you pick? Right.
Yeah. And just to point out, this is the introduction of Spider-Man. He does come back in later movies. Same with T'Challa, Black Panthers, the introduction of him.
Did anyone cry when Chadwick takes his mask off?
I know it's hard to rewatch. It's definitely hard to rewatch because it doesn't feel real. I'm that is Black Panther, but he's not here anymore with us. So I don't, they're already in production for Black Panther 2. And, they wrote a really nice note on the page, the Twitter page that said, he's going to be so proud. And I'm just I'm really interested to see how they are going to carry this forward.
Yeah. Did they shoot? Had they already started shooting while he was still alive or okay?
No, they were in prep. They were in prep, but I it's traditional in the legend of Wakanda that the leader will die and then a new one will take form. So it will fit narratively. It will fit narratively. I just don't know how gosh, that's a lot of pressure to be the person that has to step in as Black Panther.
True.
Yeah.
Like, you just already know the world is not on your side because Chadwick is so beloved.
Yeah.
But I hope people embrace whoever that is with open
Do you
arms.
think they'll take it and like completely flip it and have like, I don't know the lore behind Black Panther, but have like a woman?
I mean, Shuri is technically
his sister,
the next in line.
That would be dope.
You know,
Right, as the sister.
Yeah,
and she had like the breakout role, I feel like, of that movie because she friggin' killed it.
Yeah, and you've seen Black Panther, right?
Yes,
Quincy.
Yeah.
So we're not spoiling. Yeah.
No, I don't know if she broke out with that, but I mean, like, she was just like every time you saw her on screen.
Yeah, she's
people were like,
killer.
we
She's
love her.
brilliant.
Yeah.
So I think I told you guys this last time I was here that there was a really bad guy at Marvel who said basically women can't be superheroes, Black people don't sell, all that. And when he got let go, a multi-million-dollar deal to basically leave. Then we started getting all these movies, Captain Marvel and now Black Widow. So to say, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, will Shuri take over? I would say, no, we can't, because this guy is in place and he said women can't be super. I do think it's possible now that bad seed is away, that is a lane that we could go down. She is quite young in the canon. So a part of me feels like it wouldn't be great if not that young women can't do that, but I don't know. I just feel like she is quite young in the sense that that's a lot of pressure, and to be the queen now and having to be Black Panther. But I can't wait to see what they do with it. Honestly, there's smarter people than me at Marvel who have this figured out because they're filming the show, the movie. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be a journey, I think, because they're gonna be addressing it in the movie pretty much, and we'll pretty much get the time to mourn Chadwick in the film because they're gonna be addressing the characters passing as well, or just how the mantle is being passed on to the new person. So much to and the fact that he gets his introduction here, every little scene that I saw him and I was like, god damn, he's so good.
I know, it's so unbelievable.
And even just that very last scene where he's with Zemo, and then like he's just like, vengeance has consumed you, not me anymore. Like, just like, so good.
That's such a great monologue. It's so poignant. He delivers it so well. And he can see I love it though, because instead of going to stop the fight, he's like, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. He just like,
I don't want to be like,
he sees what's happening. He's just like, burr, and he goes after Zemo.
Like, you guys are wildling over here. Like, I'm mad, but this is crazy. And
he's like, this is not about me. Oh man. And almost the most kind of like mature perspective.
It's hilarious to me. Every time I think about it, it's like he could stop the fight technically by being like relating to Tony, like, hey, I thought he was responsible for my father's death, but he wasn't. So like, you got to release yourself. And he's like, nah, you guys can figure that out.
Yeah.
Leave.
I'm just gone. I love it. Hilarious. My own business was a person.
So like we said, overall, a huge movie. So much happens in it. And even through the after credits, did you watch the after credits, Quincy?
Yes. Oh my goodness. I almost forgot because I was like, wow, that was such a long movie. It was so epic. I was like, oh wait, no, epic movie credits. And there was two.
There were two. Yes. We had, Bucky back in Wakanda, and they're putting him back on ice. So they're going to try to help him out. And then, which, such a great full circle movement because, he was pretty much after him the whole time during the movie. And then you have Spider-Man back in Queens, talking to Marissa Tomei, Aunt May, who is the first time that Aunt May isn't played kind of by like an elderly woman. In all the previous Spider-Man movies, she's always been kind of like almost grandma-ish. The fact that she's kind of more middle-aged is kind of a new spin, a new take on the character, or at least in the movies.
They call her the hot aunt, and she is. Marissa Tomei is so
Marissa
hot,
Tomei is amazing. I mean, My Cousin Vinny was one of my favorite movies because of her. There's actually a fun fact. There's this movie called Only You, which is a Marissa Tomei and Robert Downey Jr. rom-com.
I know this movie. Yeah, I was like, I know this movie.
Yeah, it's in Italy and it's super funny and romantic. And that's what I always think of when I see their first intro together where they're sitting on the couch. I'm just like, Only You. Yeah.
Reunion.
Reunion.
Wait, speaking of reunions, I just found out, I forget his name. First Iron Man director.
John Favreau.
John Favreau.
He wrote and directed a movie, I think in like 2016 or 14 called The Chef, and he plays the chef person.
Yeah.
And it pretty much has like 7 people from it's like Scarlett Johansson, Tony Stark, to the Latinx guy from Ant-Man.
Mike Pena?
No, his name is Michael Pena, and he is the most underused actor of our generation. He is. This is a Michael Pena stan account right here. I love him. He's so underused. I like his role in Ant-Man, but he should be a superhero.
Yeah.
Because I get so
give Michael
mad
Pena powers.
Seriously, give Michael Pena powers, because he is just, I love him so dearly. Oh my gosh, he's my favorite person.
Yeah.
So you saw Chef recently?
It popped up and I was like, wait a minute. And then it was just all like people from the MCU in this role. And I was like, man.
We don't give John Favreau enough credit for the work he does in the MCU. Because he directed the Iron Man. He also produces. I think because we all think of him as, he used to do work with, what's the other actor's name?
Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn. Like, he's Vince Vaughn's wingman. This man is so smart. He curates stories.
Great.
And then he also does The Mandalorian. And you're like, he's a genius.
Dude.
And he's funny.
Yeah.
So funny.
I told this story the first time when we did Iron Man, but I have a special relationship with John Favreau because he's in one of his first roles was in Rudy, and that's my dad's favorite movie. And so that's kind of where I've seen him, or was originally like introduced to him. So yeah. And my dad loves Rudy. Like,
if you haven't watched Couples Retreat, please watch it. He's so good.
Love Couples Retreat
funny.
too. Yeah. Fun stuff. So I think that wraps it up for the Marvel portion of our podcast for today. So we're going to transition into our stretch and share. I'm going to go ahead. I forget who did it last time, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the stretch this time. Let's go ahead and just do some wrist rolls. Like if you've been typing a lot this week, stretch out your fingies. And Quincy, you want to start with your share?
My share is very basic. I went to Yosemite for my birthday and I got a tan.
Yay.
It was very hot up there. But we were by a river or a lake and it was very refreshing. And we had like these panoramic views, and Sade, I didn't die. But if something were to happen, it would have been bad because I had no reception anyway.
See? Horror movie waiting to happen.
Yeah. Anything you want to share, Sade?
I watched Black Widow last night, and it's fabulous. But I also want to say I am now officially team put the movie in theater and put it on the app, because there actually isn't a movie theater on this island because it got devastated by COVID. So when I was making plans to go see Black Widow and they told me it was in the theater, I was like, how am I going to watch it? Oh my gosh, I can pay for it on Disney Plus. So I am officially team. And it was, I was in my apartment and I got to watch it at night, and then I got to pause it because I fell asleep, and I got to go back and rewatch it. So I am now officially team. I love movie theaters. They're great, but give people options.
Yeah. Accessibility is key.
It's key. Agreed. And putting the subtitles on, that was the biggest deal. I was like, subtitles. I don't have to wait for a special screening that's at 4:00. That's never available.
I watch movies with subtitles. And I try to put them. Do you, Kay?
Sometimes I will usually watch something without subtitles the first time, but if I rewatch it, I will put subtitles. On rewatches.
My only thing with subtitles is sometimes it pooches the joke, because I'm a really fast reader and I'll read the joke before it happens on screen.
True.
Have a scare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also watched Black Widow. For those of you listening, we're currently in a timeline where Black Widow has just been released this past Friday, and actually Loki, the season finale, will be coming up on this Wednesday. So that's where we are at. I also watched it, but my personal share is that I've been trying to meditate more, which is using the Headspace app. But I found that I'm still falling asleep a couple times. Like usually I try to do I'm starting to try to do it twice a day. When I do it in the morning, I'm good. But when I do it later in the afternoon, I sometimes still fall asleep. So I need to work on that. And I also found that my breath is really, really bad after I do it the second time of the day. So I've been brushing my teeth more. So I need more toothpaste. Because after I wake up or I open my eyes after the second time, I'm just like, my mouth tastes yucky. So that's my share, and that wraps our stretch and share for this podcast for today's episode. But now we're going to go ahead and transition into our makeup portion, which is another switch 'em up for this week. In honor of Black Widow coming out, we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of her former looks, and just talk about them. Discuss and also maybe even discuss what I did to myself. I did put on a lot of blue on my eyeshadow to represent Team Cap. When I went out to my husband, I was just like, "How do I look?" He was like, "The eyeshadow looks a little odd." I was like, okay.
What does he know?
So, I mean, honestly, I'll take any opinion because I'm just playing as of now. I'm just trying it out, seeing what's happened. Well, I set up the pictures. Any hot takes or any opinions on my eyeshadow or anything else that I did?
I feel like it's great, Kay. I think you could blend your the eyeshadow application here. It looks like you did a little bit of a darker blend here, but if you could just blend the bright blue, and make sure it's evened out, because it feels like there's a very harsh line. There is you can do a graphic eyeliner, or if you choose to make that a look. That's great, but I don't think unless that's what you want. Was that a look you were going for?
Honestly, the look I was going for was I'm putting eyeshadow on.
Great, and you did it, and A+. I think go ahead.
I will say that I forgot to put the primer on first.
Did you notice a difference?
I did. So I kind of put it on. I put on one of the colors and then I put it on after. And I was like, oh, that was a bad idea. Because then it kind of just, it made this bottom part, nothing was sticking to the bottom part. Yeah. So, and I also I forgot that I'm supposed to use different brushes for the different colors. So I kind of just ended up the same. Yeah. And so I used kind of the middle lighter color first, because you're supposed to use the second color first, right?
Yes.
And I did kind of the whole thing. And then I used the lighter color mainly on the inside.
Great.
And then I used the darker color.
Great. And I think
since closer to the eyelid, the lashes, that stuff wasn't sticking, I put the darkest one on that's part the most. And even though, and I know I was supposed to use the extra brush, the black brush, to diffuse, but that was just me going like this and being like,
we should do we should do a blending demo. I think you need to blend in between more. And then with being odd, I think what your husband was saying, I just think it's two very intense, contrasting colors. So your eye is fighting to pick what to focus on. Is it the eyes and the red? And I think because they're so contrasty, it's hard to figure out what is she trying to accentuate? So then it looks like you're trying to accentuate everything versus maybe if you had gone with a deeper blue and a pinky, or you could have even just kept the blue and then gone with a pinkier lip.
Oh,
would have been
okay.
nice. Yeah, so it's not fighting for attention.
Oh,
You want the colors to complement.
So
But
maybe if I had used like a lighter, like more natural lip, the blue would look more not as
it wouldn't look as harsh because right now the contrast.
I see.
Be very careful with blue and reds because it can come off a little
costumey.
Clown?
Okay, yeah,
clown, costumey.
I did say I was like, I look like Mimi from the Drew Carey show. You guys remember?
Oh my God. That's horrible to say about yourself. But can I also say I do love a deep blue glittery eyeshadow. I don't like a flat blue, but I like a blue eyeshadow that's dark blue and that has a little glitter in it to wear at night for a night out because I like to swipe it across my eyes and line my eyes, and it really does make it pop. And I do go nude lip gloss because it is such a bright
bold color. Yeah. And if you wanted to do like a bold and bold, you just have to also then make it complementary, right? Like if I'm going to do like a full beat that's like, I don't know, like jewel tones, everything, like I'm going to do a magenta and an emerald, like the green and the magenta have to complement each other so that everything looks like a palette, right? Like, you know how in the eyeshadow, there's like the palette goes in different gradients.
Yeah.
They all kind of look nice together. Right. And then that goes with your outfit too. If you're wearing like orange and then this is like blue, and then let's say your hair is red, like you just have to make sure everything kind of has a look and feel to it.
Okay. Yeah. There are 3 different blues here.
Yeah.
So, but maybe when I am doing such a bold color, I would just use one color.
It's not the number of colors, it's the tone of the colors along with everything else.
Okay. So
it's the whole effect it's having.
I mean, if I were to, we're experimenting here.
Yeah, let's do that. Sade, have you been? Yeah. Like it just like brings it down a little bit.
Okay. But still maybe diffuse so it's more blended.
It's very blue.
It's very,
I don't know.
It's very blue.
It's very blue.
Yeah.
Sade, have you been doing false eyelashes at all?
I tried once when we were going to Vegas. It's just the extra time it adds. It's not a lot, but it's just more so I keep forgetting to do it. So
I'm the same way.
I brought them with me to Vegas, but I just never put them on.
Yeah, it's always funny when you like learn a new makeup trick and once you get into a rhythm of something, it's like everything else is fast. And then the new thing, you're like, I can do this in 5 minutes. And then you're sitting there and it's taking more time. I'm trying to do individual false eyelashes now. It's like, it takes forever because my friend did it and it looks really natural.
Well, the funny thing about being on this island is that I packed all this makeup. I don't know what I was thinking I would wear makeup because I would see people and all these hair products. And I was like, it's a lot of pressure being, black in spaces where you just feel like you have to look a certain way all the time. Then I got here and I realized no one wears makeup.
No. And like everyone looks gorgeous. Like,
I'm like, no one wears makeup. And it rains every 10 minutes. So like, why'd you even bring this curler? Like, you're just gonna have to let your natural hair do its natural thing. So it's been really nice.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'm going to do now is share my screen so we can see the pictures.
So we are looking at Natasha from Iron Man 2.
Yes.
She has more of a burgundy red color. To me, what I see is she, if we're comparing her to the other images, her eyebrows have definitely been filled in or maybe dyed a darker color. And Sade, chime in if I miss anything. And I feel like, she has
got a hint of eyeliner, top eyeliner.
Yeah, she's lined her line. And I think they even highlighted her waterline, which is the under eye here. You can see the white. And then they went over and gave her, lined her bottom eye. They've definitely given her some mascara.
Going back.
And let's see.
This is a lovely look. It's a rosy cheek. It's a very subtle palette. I do the lip is colored and it's lovely. It's a lovely color.
It's a love like coral color. It's a yeah. And then and then that was the thing too, Kay. Like this looks very natural, like even with her lips, but like they've filled and colored it. So there's, color and dimension to her face. Yeah. I think she even has like a little bit of highlighter on her brow bone. Which is the area right under your eyebrow, that bone. And then even on her lids, I feel like they've given her some highlighter. So like her eyes pop even more.
Yeah. I'm seeing the eyes are very, like she has a beautiful eye color. I think it's green, but it's gorgeous.
Yeah. It's definitely different. It definitely highlights the greenness in her eyes. And this is this is where she steps into the ring in Iron Man 2, after when she first kind of like is introduced to Tony and Pepper and Jon Favreau's character Happy. So I really like how, she's blending in. She's, workplace type look. But you can also
it's a very conventionally beautiful look, I would say.
Like we're
she's not taking any big risks. Everything is very like neutral
but it's also very seductive young girl kind of look. Not young as in child, but young as in just like new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fresh face.
It's fresh face. Yeah.
And she is the fresh face in this movie in Iron Man 2.
She is.
So going down to the next slide, this is from Civil War. I thought this was interesting. I thought this was interesting because in this part of the movie, they're in the car. This is after they just left the Apple store, so they're kind of undercover. So she does. I feel like she does look a little bit more like plain, or just like not. It almost looks like no makeup.
Is it Civil War? Because isn't this?
Oh, I mean,
number 2,
Winter Soldier.
This is Winter Soldier. Yeah.
Oh, Sade, I think this is also her best look. I really love this look. Yeah, she has her hair straightened. And
a straight A-line cut.
And it's not curled, it's straight, and she has more of this like reddish, like more of a true redhead tone to her. I don't know. I think it's just very sexy. I don't know what
she
about
also
it.
has. It's a little bit of a tan too. She's got a little bit of darkness to her, whether it's a bronzer or it's a slight tan, but she's got more color to her. Olive tone skin in this. And she just looks healthier and more comfortable in her Winter Soldier look.
Yeah. Again, she has her eyes lined. It's a very natural look. I'm sure she has some kind of foundation on. It's very light. I think because of the warmth in her skin, they're not putting as much like blush on. And I feel like with her lip, it looks mostly like it's a gloss and not, or like maybe a lip stain. And her eyebrows, you can tell, aren't nearly as dark, but again, they've been either dyed or filled to match her current hair.
Do you think she has eyeshadow on? Is that one color? It's that multiple colors, you think?
I mean, I feel like with makeup, I did a shoot where the look was like no makeup look and they still put makeup on. I don't think it's just going to be one, like whatever and it's Scarlett Johansson in a Marvel movie. Like she's going to look amazing. So I don't think it's just like one product. I think it's probably like two or
still
three.
a blend
Still a blend to bring this out. Yeah.
I think there's definitely some eyeshadow there. It's very subtle, but it's definitely, and it's subtle in the sense of they probably put a ton of makeup on her to make her look subtle because that's the point of makeup. Really, should be the point of makeup.
To have a very specific look.
Yeah. I did a thing on Georgia Smith where I was like, I want to recreate that look. And it looks like she's not wearing anything, but she has like 12 products on her face to create that real like dewy nude look. So it's an illusion.
Great look. Great look. This hair was everything.
Same. I loved her hair in this.
Yeah.
Cool. And this is the last look. Very night look. This is Age of Ultron at the party post getting the spear back. And I think this is the most kind of like, made up we've seen her because, she's at a party. She's having a nightlife.
You know what's interesting about Natasha? We just saw 3 different looks of her. They're all her, but they're all not her. In the sense that she's been doing undercover work for so long. She's going to give you what she needs to be when she needs to be it, but they're still all her. I still think this is the closest to a Natasha that we get. She's sophisticated. Yeah. And she is very smart and intelligent. If people would just give her a chance, she probably is the smartest one in that room outside, really the smartest one out of the room outside of Tony and Banner. And this is when she's flirting with Banner at the bar. And she's just so womanly in this. It's a world's different from the first time in Iron Man 2 where we're kind of giving her a male gaze, honestly. We're like, oh, she's so young and pouted and her hair is curled. This is a woman. This
agreed.
is a strong, powerful look. I have business to attend to. So either you're coming home with me tonight or I got a paper due in the morning, but we're here. I love this look.
Yeah. She definitely has a darker eyeshadow because it's an event and it's nighttime. So when we go out at night, we're going to put on darker makeup. She has a full lip. I feel like she has some not bronzer, but she has some blush up here that's a little bit darker.
Closer to the eyes?
No, you can kind of see it here, up on her cheekbones right here. She has some color up here. If you compare it to the first photo we're looking at, I think the focus has been in the first one. You see the emphasis is, I feel like, making her face look round to give her that youthful girl next door pouty look. I love that word.
More here.
Yeah, it's round. Everything is rounder because she's like the new assistant that comes in. And then in the third one, everything's a little bit more angular. Higher. And I think the contouring that they did on her skin was to bring out the shape of her face more to give her that womanly look. Cool. Even the way her hair is framed, it's still soft, but angled to
styled.
To bring out the cheekbones and her nose and her eyes.
When I saw this, I was like, oh, this out of all 3 looks, I was like, this is the one I can see. For me, I would be like, oh, she has makeup on. Yeah. Whereas the other 2, well, the Winter Soldier one, I would have been, I would probably been, does she have makeup on? And then the first one, oh, she definitely has lip gloss on. Yeah. So
and you'll notice, Kate, too, the emphasis in this is her lips. So everything else is kind of neutral and it's still there, but everything is there to make sure that you're focusing on her lips.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, this actually is really great for learning because I feel like, I'm still learning. Obviously, I'm still learning. So I feel like knowing how to look at something and be like, oh, this is actually what's happening is a good way to use as an example moving forward.
Yeah.
Cool.
Can I tell you guys my thematic tie-in?
Oh, yes, please do. Please do.
We looked at the many faces of Natasha, just like how Captain America 3 showed us the many faces of peace.
Many faces of peace. I like it. And then later on, when you guys continue through phase 4, go back and look at her look in Black Widow because it's a completely different look. That actually might be the truest makeup wise form of who Natasha is.
You know what was interesting? I've seen the posters because I'm not allowed to watch anything new because we're watching in order, but I've seen the posters and she's in all white. And I thought, that was very interesting too, because so far she's mostly in black. And then this one party scene, she's in white, right? But everything is very black and I'm not, covert op. I'm in the shadows.
Yeah. Well, and I thought it was interesting. We were looking at Natasha's looks this week in regards to Civil War because she's someone who's been a character very much there from the very beginning of MCU. So she's had the opportunity to see kind of everyone's different perspectives as the movies have gone through. So the fact that we're looking at her different looks and she's gotten the perspectives of all the different characters as she's traveled through the MCU, I thought was a interesting thematic tie-in.
That you said about because she's an assassin and I just love that note about how that's why she looks so different in every movie.
She's gonna give you when she first meets Tony and we don't know she's Black Widow, he's Tony likes young co-ed women. We saw that in the first Iron Man. He likes young women. So that's the look she was going to give. Right. And then when she's with Cap and Winter Soldier, she's a little more like hanging out with a friend. I think she's
like tomboyish,
a little more tomboyish. She actually feels like a kindred spirit, not romantic. It's platonic, but they actually have like this rapport together. She can relax a little bit. And then when we finally see her with Bruce, she likes him. So it is a little bit more gussied and, but at the same time, I think what people need to understand, especially when it comes to women, we can be all of those things. We're still us. But we're going to give you different things depending on who you are.
Love that.
True.
And I feel like that's a good note to end on.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us again, Sade. We so appreciate you coming back. And thanks to everyone else. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for listening and or watching. And if you'd like to reach out to us and find out more about Marvel and Makeup, you can follow us on all social media at Marvel and Makeup, or you can email us at marvelandmakeuppod@gmail.com.
And please give us 5 stars so that, I skipped. Okay. Wow.
Rate and review.
I did. Rate and review and subscribe on wherever you find your podcasts. And please give us 5 stars so that our Asian moms stop telling us to wear makeup or not to wear makeup.
The 2 options. That's pretty, nice
just like my body, my choice, mom,
Oh, okay. I get it. Now.
Because sometimes my mom's like, you look too much like a tomboy. I'm like, leave me alone. Then I wear makeup. And then she's like, you have too much makeup on. And I'm like, which is it, mom?
Yes. It's always the thing that you're not. They're like, be the thing you're not. It's like, I was that thing yesterday. And Sade, anything you would like to plug or let us know where people you might want us to reach out to you?
You can find me on Twitter at I am Sade Sellers, and that's it. That's all you need to know.
Great. Well, thank you again, everyone. We'll catch you next time on Marvel and Makeup.
Bye.
Bye. Marvel and Makeup is hosted and produced by Quincy Cho and Kei Kanapu. Quincy is an actor-writer based in Los Angeles, California. Kei is a writer-performer for Filipino AF and an alum of the CBS Diversity Sketch Showcase. You can follow them on Twitter and Instagram at Quincy Dinosaur and at Kei Kanapu.
The music for Marvel and Makeup was composed by Clarence Yap and our artwork was designed by Patty Lin. You can find them on Instagram at Clarence_Yap and at pattylin.jpg. See our show notes for even more info.
Marvel and Makeup is also a member of the Potluck Podcast Collective, a network of Asian American hosted podcasts. Please check out our fellow Potluck pods by going to the website podcastpotluck.com.
But we're still here, and we're going strong.
It's an exciting time in Asian America. There are more movies, TV shows, books, and music reflecting us than ever. But all of these represent just a small slice of Asian American culture and experiences. So what do? Tell more slices. Asian Americana is a show that explores these slices of distinctly Asian American culture and history. We've talked about how Chinese Americans built California's Sacramento Delta, the art scene turns gallery institution Giant Robot, a play that explores the lost Cambodian pop music of the 60s and 70s, and, of course, boba, just to name a few stories. You can find Asian Americana at asianamericana.com or on your podcast app.
Spider-Man, right? I'm maybe dating myself, but I've seen 2 other Spider-Men in my lifetime. There's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. There's Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Now there's Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Did you have any type of Spider-Man that you're just like, this is my Spider-Man, or any loyalty to a Spider-Man when you went in the previous movies?
Yeah, here's the thing. All the actors are fabulous. They're really wonderful. Tom and Andrew and Toby. But as, a millennial baby, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is just it for me because you know what? Let's throw in Miles Morales as well. Miles Morales is really great.
True.
I love talking
into the Spider-Verse. Yeah.
I think actually I'll take it all back. I loved seeing Miles Morales as Spider-Man. It was the first time I got to see someone that looked like me and in the Spider-Man costume. And I related to it so much. I've never been to New York, never lived in New York, but just his parents, and how poignant it was his dad is a cop now. It's just like made crazy. So I am going to wash all of the other Toms away. So, all the Spider-Mans away and say Miles Morales to me. Gosh, that was such a good movie. And I saw that in theaters and I was genuinely shocked. I really like his, and there's, as you go through the Marvel, Quincy, you'll know there are many universes in Marvel. So these are all technically Spider-Man on different universes. All of them. So there is a place where Toby is still doing his thing and a place where Andrew is still doing his thing. I will say Spider-Man 2 with Toby is the best Spider-Man movie we'll ever have.
Oh, Doc Ock. Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, is the best.
I cried watching that scene with Doc Ock at the end being like, listen to me now. Alfred Molina. I was just like, that
soundtrack. I'm so high, I can feel heaven. That has the best soundtrack. Are you guys kidding me? Creed? Like, Spider-Man 2 is the best.
You guys have such good memories. I cannot remember Spider-Man 2 at all.
I'm so high, I can feel heaven. Like, that is just, but heaven. Sorry, I can go forever. That's the funniest thing to me. Like, how that song is.
That's great. Okay. I think we got our after credit.
Okay. Just me singing Creed.
Yes.
A hero save us. I love that song. So dang good.